Today, we are diving deep into a fascinating prophecy, one that some believe connects ancient scripture directly to today's headlines. And right at the heart of it all is this mysterious figure known as the Man of Lawlessness.
So, let me ask you this. What if the huge events shaping our world, the financial crises, the political uprisings, what if they weren't random at all? What if they were all part of a pre-written script, a prophecy that's been around for thousands of years? Well, that is the exact idea we're unpacking today.
The sources we're looking at make a pretty bold claim that a specific biblical prophecy isn't just some dusty old text. They say it's a live roadmap to the end times. And the most shocking part, they believe we're watching it all happen in real time.
All right, so to really get a grip on this theory, we have to start where it all began, with its biblical foundation.
So this entire belief system really hangs on this one passage from 2 Thessalonians. It says that before the end times can happen, two very specific things have to go down. First, a major rebellion, and second, the appearance of a man of lawlessness who, get this, will claim to be God himself.
So just to be clear, you've got two conditions, right? A huge rebellion has to happen, and this man of lawlessness has to be revealed to the world. And here's the crucial part. The sources we're examining claim that both of these things have already happened.
So let's dig into that first condition. How exactly do these sources claim to have identified this prophetic figure?
Now, you might be thinking this revelation was some kind of mystical vision or a sign in the heavens. But according to these sources, nope. It was a television broadcast. They point to a series of reports by Glenn Beck as the exact moment this prophetic alarm was sounded, putting a name and a face to the man of lawlessness for the whole world to see.
And that person is the billionaire financier George Soros. The sources build their case with this incredibly long list of accusations. They basically paint a picture of him as a global puppet master, someone they claim is behind chaos on a scale we've never seen before.
And this quote, this right here, is what they present as their smoking gun. It's attributed to Soros from an interview way back in 1993. For them, this isn't just some weird off-the-cuff remark. It's a direct confession, one that lines up perfectly with the prophecy.
This is really the core of their argument. Let's put it side by side. On the left, you have the prophecy of a man who proclaims himself to be God. And on the right, you have the quote where Soros allegedly says he feels comfortable thinking of himself as some kind of God. For those who believe in this, it's a perfect match.
Okay, so that's condition number one checked off for them. But what about the other part of the prophecy? What about that massive global rebellion?
The way the sources see it, the rebellion wasn't just one single uprising. No, they describe it as a chain reaction, like a contagion of unrest that started right around the time Soros was being unmasked, and it's just been spreading across the globe ever since.
And here's how they connect the dots on their timeline. It all kicks off with the Arab Spring in late 2010. They argue that destabilization directly sparked the global Occupy movement a year later. From there, they see the same pattern continuing through the migrant crises and other protest movements, which they claim Soros funds to create this perfect storm of lawlessness.
Now this is where it gets even bigger, because according to these sources, this prophecy isn't happening in a vacuum. They say it connects to an even larger, older plan, one they attribute to a man named Albert Pike.
Yeah, the narrative expands here quite a bit. The sources claim that way back in the 19th century, this high-ranking Freemason named Albert Pike wrote a letter. And in that letter, he supposedly outlined a plan for 3 world wars, all designed to eventually lead to one world government. They see what's happening today as the final act of that script.
This quote, which they attribute to Pike, is absolutely central to their argument. He allegedly wrote about unleashing a formidable social cataclysm to show the world the horrors of absolute atheism, which would ultimately force people to rise up against the revolutionaries.
So where do the sources see this social cataclysm happening today? Well, they point directly to what they call the collective rage in the United States. They connect it to these incredibly polarizing political events, arguing that all this division is fueling what they believe is a necessary and maybe even planned civil war.
And all of this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, where the sources point to what they see as undeniable signs that the end isn't just on its way, but that it's already here.
For the believers of this prophecy, it's not just one thing here or there. It's everything, and it's all happening at once. They argue that the sheer number and scale of the crises we're seeing across the globe is the ultimate confirmation that the script is playing out.
And these are the final proof points they offer, kind of broken down into categories. Geopolitically, you have the threat of thermonuclear war. In the cosmos, they point to a massive increase in meteors and even claims of a new sun. And then back here on Earth, you have apocalyptic weather, huge earthquakes, all of it happening at the same time, which they say fulfills basically every major end-time prediction out there.
So after laying out this incredibly detailed and intricate map of prophecy and current events, the sources leave us with a final warning. The question they seem to be asking is this: if you truly believe the world is following a script, what does it mean to be a character in its final act?